WrestleMania 37 is in the books. And we have some new champions, retaining champions, and a lot to talk about. We're going to get into it in just a second, so stay tuned. This is WrstlXtra.
What it do, yo, this is WrstlXtra. You are watching on the WrestleManiac UK YouTube channel. And of course, you are listening on AffinityExtra.com. Mex.
Yo.
Mate. WrestleMania 37, night one, was amazing. Yo, mate, let's get into it. Let's get into it, man. So, you know, the grandest stage of them all, the night of all nights, WrestleMania happened this past weekend, and all in all, I will say it was one of possibly. Actually, you know what? I think it's probably one of the best WrestleManias in a while, in maybe 3-4 years or so, something like that. As we noted last week, it was literally the blackest WrestleMania in history.
Yep.
And it was like everyone just thought, let's just throw them all on night one.
Literally.
It was like someone mentioned to me the other day, it was like the first night was for us and the second night was for them.
For them, you know. I mean, Apollo with Big E was over there on night 2.
Of course, but you have to throw in something. You know what I mean? You have to throw something in there. You can't just be completely exclusive one night and then completely exclusive the second night. So you have to throw something in there. The balance was a little bit off in that respect, but at the same time, in terms of just looking at the whole show, both nights as literally, you know, a wrestling show, no race, no gender, no nothing considered. Yeah. Both nights were really good.
Yeah.
I think the balance was correct in terms of the level of matches. The balance was correct.
Yeah, the placement of it all.
Yeah, for sure. I believe so. I was questioning the first two matches of night 2, but
we all were.
But whatever. Nothing we can do about it now. But yeah, man, let's get into each match. Let's kind of go down the list of our own stars and any kind of general speak that we want to get into as well. So to kick off the night, and in great fashion, was the WWE Championship match, but that was all halted by the weather. We waited a year, a month, and a day for the last time WWE was in front of a live crowd, and we had to wait. What was it? 40 minutes?
About 45 minutes, yeah.
About 45 minutes for the show to actually start because of weather problems. There was a brewing storm going on, dark clouds, lightning, rain coming down, all sorts. And it made, they had to improvise. And I think they did it in a very good way.
Yes. Obviously, you know what? It was kind of poetic that, just when you think you're going to get back in front of a crowd, no, this 2020 is still rearing its head somehow.
Right.
And you got to wait another 45 minutes. And it was obviously after Vince had come out and done his whole spiel.
Yep.
Excuse me. And then, the America the Beautiful, all of that.
That wasn't that beautiful, but anyway. That song was not that beautiful.
Anyway, like you said. So then we had these interviews, which for me was a good way to fill the time. We had people that were wrestling on the night come out and try and sell their match a bit more. People wrestling the next night do the same. I think it was a bit glaring why these guys, some of them, don't get completely free reign on what they say and their scripts, because some of them struggled somewhat with trying to fill the gap and not given a lot of direction as well. Obviously, it's just talk for about a minute and then we'll move off you sort of thing. And I think who done very good. I think Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens was brilliant.
Kevin Owens, what I think he did was notice that you're being put under pressure by an interviewer, that this is just, let's make this on the spot. So he takes the mic from the interviewer, says, can I just do this my own? So he didn't have to answer any questions on the spot, and he could just dictate what he could say. Right. So at the end of it, like you said, they kind of filled this gap where pretty well. Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, a bit of back and forth, like, and they're going out first. So yeah, I think they did the best they could, and then obviously, yeah, we got to the WWE Championship match.
I believe with those that were, I guess, chosen to have to say something in that time were the right people to be chosen. New Day were absolutely fine. We know how good they are on their own. Seth Rollins did amazing. Seth Rollins was amazing.
Oh my god,
Seth Rollins was absolutely amazing.
I'm loving this gimmick of his, honestly.
You know, we know MVP can talk, and Drew was great as well, even with, you know, improvising, telling the interview, stand on this side of me, so I've not got my back to those little details. I love that from Drew. So yeah, man, they did what they needed. At first, it felt like, oh Lord, what are they gonna do here? But they made it work. And that was amazing. So going into the first match, we have been saying on here for the last month, 6 weeks, however long it is, you carry on sipping your tea because
and I need to eat some humble pie as well.
Trust me, because we have not necessarily written off Bobby Lashley in the sense that he was not able to come out of WrestleMania as the champion. We know he's capable. We know that it would have made sense, but we just saw every single sign under the sun to tell us that Drew McIntyre was going to be the one to walk out of WrestleMania as the champion. Yeah. The biggest one being, you know, this whole either rumor or confirmation or whatever it was that was in the air about the WWE, Vince McMahon himself, maybe wanting Drew McIntyre to win the championship in front of a crowd. That was the biggest one. And then even just down to, you know, what happened on Raw, you know, for the 3 weeks before the match, the Hurt Business breaking up, Bobby Lashley looking like he's maybe scared of Drew and asking other people to jump in and help him out and all that type of thing. But lo and behold, after what was a good match, not out of this world, definitely wasn't bad. It lasted a good amount of time as well, which I was happy about. Hard hitting, all the rest of it was great. After all of that, Bobby Lashley actually incapacitated Drew McIntyre. That part for me was what was like, oh my day. Not MVP hit Drew and then, you know, or low blow Drew and then Bobby Lashley did whatever. Yeah, MVP kind of did a bit of a shout and, you know, Drew was kind of, you know, distracted and stuff. But at the same time, it still took for Bobby Lashley to incapacitate Drew McIntyre to beat him. Based on just the crowd reaction alone, bro, when that bell rang, I didn't even know. I thought someone made a mistake because the crowd was so quiet. There was no reaction. And I don't think it was upset. It was literal shock that Bobby Lashley won.
Yeah. The finish was very, very neat, very, very tidy. I love the fact MVP, there's the distraction element, but it was to Bobby. It was like, no, Bobby, like they knew this is the one thing that would finish Bobby. And it's like, no, Bobby, watch out, or whatever he said. You know, got out of the way of the Claymore. When you get put in that hurt lock, you know, we saw Drew go down. We saw Drew kind of come back up. You're thinking, okay, yeah, he's gonna muscle out a bit, you know?
The whole breakout, and then carry on.
Came back down again. Drew is now on the mat. He's lifeless. At this point, you're either waiting for the tap or you're waiting for something else to happen. The referee like goes and looks at my man and just like, and it's like I think someone on the commentary must have said like, "Oh, Drew's passed out," and then it's like that's when a penny drops.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that this guy won! Like, yeah, I lost my head. Like, yeah, I couldn't believe it.
It was reminiscent of an Undertaker or Roman Reigns finish.
Yeah.
we've seen that happen with those two quite often. They're locking whatever, the triangle choke with Undertaker and the other one that Roman's been doing for, last few months. I'm still flabbergasted, bro. I'm still like, this is like, that's like the best way to cement Bobby as the champion. Literally.
And at the same time, they've left the door open because Drew can argue, I didn't give up.
Yeah, there's that.
I was passed out or whatever. So that gives him another lifeline, which he's already earned to have another try.
Yeah. Triple threat match he won last night.
I was speechless because I would have bet my whole house that there's no way Bobby Lashley's retaining it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I love the confidence of MVP afterwards coming out and saying we said that this was gonna happen, sort of thing. You doubted us. You guys said, I think he cut some promo maybe on the website or something like that, saying that you guys all thought that they wanted to give Drew a chance in front of the crowd, but Bobby Lashley is the almighty, this, that, and the other. Bobby Lashley as well, as he has been very graceful, saying that MVP is the only person that believed in me and all of this kind of stuff. True. It's just brilliant. I just love those two together at this point. And they're building Bobby like it now has to be Lesnar at SummerSlam. It has to be. Like,
if it's not, I don't know what. I mean, the only other person we kind of talked about this last week as well. The only other person who currently is on the roster that we would think would probably be pushed to beat Bobby is Braun at the moment. It's still a bit of a way for that to happen as well. There's still a bit of time. Definitely. And especially after we lost to Drew on Raw yesterday, obviously that's not happening like right now. But if it's not Drew, it's gotta be Brock. And if it's not Brock, bro, I don't know. Oh man, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Moving on to the next match, we saw Naomi and Lana. They didn't last long in the tag team turmoil match that they were a part of. Unfortunately, lost to I think it was Carmella and Billie Kay. But then Tamina and Natalya eventually won that match. There's not much to talk about when it comes to the match itself, but do you see any future with Naomi and Lana, or do you see a change of future with Naomi and Lana after this?
Man, I don't see anything positive happening here. Like again, another one that I was so confident on. These two probably win. If it not for the quickly put together duo of Carmella and Billie Kay, then I thought this was a shoo-in that it had to be Naomi and Lana, and they didn't even get past the first hurdle. Then obviously saw what happened on night 2. The champions retained. We've then obviously seen what happened on Monday Night Raw, where Mandy Rose has basically walked away from an opportunity at possibly pinning the tag champions. Like, what are you lot doing with this division? Like, really and truly, this division is a mess. Every woman in it is being unrepresented. The Riot Squad had the best showing in this match, and they didn't win, and they're like the only genuine tag team. It's just an entire mess. And for Naomi, who we obviously all hold very dear and think there's a lot more in the tank that they can do with her. I guess, I don't know, like I said, her social media numbers have surely boosted in the past couple of months with everything she's been doing with Lana and stuff like that. Right. And maybe that's the capacity they want her to flourish in. But the women's division is hopefully on the up, the main women's singles division, but this tag division is just a complete and utter mess.
It's an absolute mess, bro. I mean, to be fair to Nia and Shayna, I think I've warmed to their partnership, and they're doing all right. With them winning on night 2, I think that was just the wrong thing to do. Just give Tamina
a moment,
bro. Just give Tamina a moment. Also give Natalya a moment as well, even though she's had like 20 million moments. She still wants another one. Like, she's not been having any moments.
I don't think she's had like a WrestleMania moment, has she?
I can't remember. I don't think so.
And Tamina's been in the company 10 years and never won anything.
10 plus years, bro. Not won a single thing apart from like a triple threat match.
Maybe a match.
Or that tag team turmoil match on night 1.
Yeah. And if I'm correct, she never won anything in FCW either, and that's going way.
Wow.
So
yeah, a part of me doesn't understand why she's still there, and not simply but on both ends of the stick in terms of why she feels she still needs to stay, and why the WWE have kept her for so long. I don't understand it, and it's not because she's incapable, not because she's not good, but it's simply because nothing's been done with her ever.
Yeah.
Or we get this little flourish of her coming back for like 2 months and then boom, gone again. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. The best thing that happened, apart from the Riot Squad and their good showing, the best thing that happened with that match was Mandy Rose when she slipped.
You know what it was? It wasn't even the slip. It was the look for me. When she slipped, she was like, as if this isn't WrestleMania and the whole world is watching. This wasn't your bedroom you slipped in, This was on Peacock Network, bro. This was in front of 25,000 people, bro.
Oh, Lord.
We all saw you. There was no need for this. We all saw it.
Yeah.
We all saw it.
And then the other part of it as well was that Dana Brooke was just none the wiser to the whole thing as well.
Yeah, she's still strutting down. Like, I did think that their attire was very provocative, very Attitude Era-esque.
Yeah,
I don't know like where that came from. Like, and I think Dana Brooke had a bit of a malfunction in the ring, didn't she?
I think so.
I think a bit of her chest came jumping out of her outfit, but yeah,
it's a damn shame. Damn shame.
And I've heard so many times on like wrestlers podcasts and stuff like that, if you make new gear, you have to test it.
Right.
I've heard it. So you in the industry must have definitely heard it. Yeah, she tagged out straight away to fix whatever she was wearing, and Mandy Rose jumped in. So yeah, let me just run through a quick comments I've neglected in the live chat. Sorry. Arpit says big up Arpit in the chat. Best Mania since 31 for me. Like you were saying, this has been a good one for a long time. Jonesy Chats Wrestling, thanks for joining us, bro. He said, good evening, lads. Night one was so good. The main event was timeless. I'm sure we're going to speak about that. We're going to speak about that. Arpit, Bebe Rexha looked very good, though. That's the lady that sang American the Beautiful.
Sounded. Anyway.
Jonathan Rodney, thanks for joining us, bro. Yes, lads. Brock and Lashley at Survival Series. Okay, yeah. We need to get it. Like, either way, I don't care where it is.
Yeah, man. Moving on to the next match, we had the New Day defend their Raw Tag Team Championships against AJ Styles and the big 7-foot Nigerian Omos in his first ever match for WWE, and of course, it being massive with it being at WrestleMania. Crazy. And of course, what we expected, what we wanted as well. AJ Styles and Omos came away as the champions. I believe, and I did put this on my page, so I'm hoping it's actual facts because I haven't actually checked it. But I believe Omos is now the first person to debut at WrestleMania and win a championship on the same day.
That is not facts.
Why is that not facts, bro?
Because Nicholas done it with Braun Strowman, didn't he?
Ah, that little Nicholas boy. A 10-year-old, bro. A 10-year-old. Oh, man. I swear, you know what? I probably put black wrestler to do so. I hope I did. Oh.
There's your out.
there. I'm good. Oh, my word. Nicholas, the 10-year-old guy, he's the son of a referee as well, isn't it? But he was picked out of the crowd.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, picked out of the crowd. Oh, wow.
10-year-old boy ruining your posts.
10-year-old ruined my life. Oh, my days.
And
wow.
It was also the Raw Tag Team Championships, if I'm correct.
It was. And that was from, who did they win it against?
New Orleans. They won it against The Bar, I think.
Yes.
Cesaro and Sheamus.
Yes, that's right. Mad. So a big 7-foot Nigerian is beaten by a 10-year-old. Okay. All right, fair enough. So let's scrap that part. But even still, the magnitude of the moment was still major in the sense, obviously, again, he's come in his first ever match in WWE, and it was at WrestleMania. He's definitely not the first person to debut at WrestleMania at all. But, you know, as we said and as we predicted, as we expected, his showing was really good. Really good. He did what he needed to do. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't underwhelming. It was just what it was supposed to be. I love the fact that the New Day tried so hard to make sure he didn't come into the match because they knew exactly what was going to happen to them if he did. So that was amazing.
I felt that this was a very, very fun match. Well placed in the card. Obviously, they goaded AJ into starting the match, although Omos was ready to start the match. Tease the crowd a bit longer because that's all we're waiting for in this match. We're waiting to see the debut of Omos. AJ is struggling because, like you rightly said, these guys are keeping him in there to the point where even New Day, it could be argued, they were acting a bit heelish.
You know, for sure.
Really doing a bit of dastardly stuff. Eventually, AJ gets that tag and almost coming in over the top. His attire made me crack up. Like, firstly, I thought he was dressed as a pastor.
Listen, bro. I said he looked like a black extra large version of the Undertaker, the 90s Undertaker.
Yeah. 100%. Ministry taker, like.
Trust me. Oh my word! Like he had this buttoned up but sleeveless shirt.
It was something.
It was
something
different.
And I think when he took off his coat, when he came down to the ring, everyone was like, "You're not even dressed for this still." And I think when he took off his coat, I think I heard Kofi shout, "This still isn't ring attire."
The man came down in his tan long trench coat, bro. I'm like, mate,
do you know you're about to wrestle a match?
Like, you know what you're here for?
I think a great spot was the phenomenal forearm off his shoulders by AJ
that was
Styles.
amazing.
And then obviously the pin to Kofi Kingston. And you know, what absolutely killed me was when he was pinning Kofi Kingston and the referee was counting and he was just raising his arms like, I don't know, some mystical creature had arrived. Like, it was so good. So good. The crowd popped big for him. And AJ, sure. Raw champions, Raw tag champions.
Yeah, man. You know, we were saying a few weeks ago that, you know, one, we didn't necessarily understand why the match was happening. Two, that this tag team division again is basically non-existent. Simply like every single tag team division in WWE right now.
They don't care.
Raw, SmackDown, and the women's, all three are just whatever. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they then do with these two. I'm not sure if they had any kind of showing on Raw. I didn't see any of it. But
AJ and Omos weren't on Raw, along with the new US champion Sheamus wasn't on Raw. Very weird.
Wow.
New Day, exactly. New Day had a segment with Elias and Jackson Riker, which they won a match, but that was it.
Wow. So once again, you know, this tag team division just makes no sense. Moving on to what we saw. Let me quickly jump onto Bad Bunny, because I'm sorry, this guy has to get his flowers. That guy absolutely smashed it. So as much as we were talking about Omos and us waiting for Omos to come into the ring, Bad Bunny was in there like straight away.
This was his match. To the point I'm worried for Damian Priest.
Right. Exactly that. Because he basically, you know, as a celebrity who's never wrestled before, yes, he's watched it all his life, and yes, he's a fan, and yes, he's been around the whole scene for the last 3 months since Royal Rumble. He's never wrestled. And the performance that he put in was not like any celebrity performance we've seen before, where they come in, do a very basic maybe clothesline or get a punch in here and run away, or, you know what I mean, things like, or do what Snoop Dogg did when he jumped off that top rope. Anyway, nothing like that. It was like I joked about it, but it felt like it was possible within a year or so he could possibly be a cruiserweight champion, bro. Because the stuff that he was pulling off was ridiculous.
Completely believable.
His
performance was Pat McAfee. It was Ronda Rousey, like their first performances. It was that level. Like, this is someone that they said has been working out, and it's not like no one believed them. It was just like, you still don't know what you're gonna get on the night.
Right.
This guy, Damian Priest was in this match for 4 minutes.
Wow.
4 minutes. Everything else was Bad Bunny. Between dominating the match against Miz and Morrison to fighting from underneath and trying to make the tag. Damian Priest was actually early in this match for 4 minutes. Wow. We saw the splash that he done at Royal Rumble. He repeated that to the outside.
Did the same thing again.
The Canadian Destroyer to Morrison.
What?
They don't even let full-time guys do that.
Exactly.
I've seen Rey Mysterio and Andrade do that a couple years ago in the series they were having.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
They don't let people do this move.
Right.
And one can argue, it was all Morrison flipping back, and Miz and Morrison were just completely the right guys for this, because Miz is obviously a very safe worker. Morrison's an exceptional worker, but they just let a man pull off a Canadian to the outside, not even in the ring.
On the outside, bro. On the outside, bro. And credit to John Morrison massively, because at the end of the day, a Canadian Destroyer only really works when your opponent is, you know what I mean, taking the fall and doing the work as well. But still, as you said, at the same time, you know, this wasn't NXT. This wasn't Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano, bro. This is Bad Bunny, a Grammy nominated, award-winning, whatever else, you know, artist. And he's doing moves like that, as you said, that some full-time guys are not even allowed to do on the main roster.
I'm not gonna lie, he made it look very easy. His whole performance in general, not the Canadian, made it look very easy. Yeah. So he may have been practicing hard for quite a while.
I remember there was a little point where I think it was Damian Priest jumped over the top rope. I literally was expecting Bad Bunny to do some kind of suicide dive as well, you know, bro. That would have killed me. If he did some suicide dive or some springboard moonsault or what, like, it wouldn't. After seeing that Destroyer, I wouldn't have put it past him at all.
Mate, when he landed that Destroyer, I was chewing gum. I nearly choked. I nearly choked because I was chewing gum and I couldn't believe what had just happened. I jumped out of my seat. It was
phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal. Shout out to all these trainers. Adam Pearce, Drew Gulak, Brian Kendrick, and of course our guy Norman Smiley. Born in Northampton, but a very major player in the US for a long time, mainly with WCW and also in Mexico, which is crazy. But also as well, even Randy Orton took the time out to mention just how much respect he has for Bad Bunny. For Randy Orton, a guy that does not care about the celebrities. I mean, come on, he's been having Twitter wars with what's his name again? Soldier Boy on Twitter the last few months. He came out and was like, "Yep, I rate this guy. He's one of us. He's a fellow superstar." That's enough credit. Don't need anyone else to say anything ever again. To be honest, it's that simple.
100%. Arpit says here, Bad Bunny hit a mother F Canadian Destroyer. Yeah, I was as shocked as that, to be honest, as well. Jonathan Rodney, Bad Bunny was better than Dominic. I'm guessing that's Dominic Mysterio. Arpit, Bad Bunny was better than The Miz. I mean, The Miz and Morrison were there to make this guy look brilliant, but
yeah, of course.
And of course they can do that, but he was so smooth with everything he did. So you know, they can only carry him so far. The rest was literally him.
Yeah, for sure. And that was phenomenal. Moving on to the biggest match of the weekend. Let's be very real about it. The most important match of the weekend: Bianca Belaire versus Sasha Banks. Bro, we've talked about it for the last 2 months, just how poorly, I guess, the build-up was. There was no storyline to it. There was nothing happening. We were questioning what Bianca was doing or the direction she was given, what Sasha was doing and the way she was going about things and all that kind of stuff. But I think we both knew that at the end of the day, we were always going to get a good match. What's crazy about how good the match was is that it made you completely forget about the build-up. the build-up became non-existent.
Yeah, secondary. Didn't matter.
Yeah. It did not even secondary, bro. It just did not matter anymore at all. We saw just how real the emotion was before the match even started, bro. Before just before the announcer started announcing their names and all that kind of stuff, it was more evident with Bianca Belair. Sasha was holding it, but then she saw Bianca and she was like, I had to look away. You know what I mean? But Bianca was ready to cry, bro. She was ready to go. She had to just hold herself and was like, "Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be a character here." You know what I mean? I was holding back tears. I was holding back tears. There was more than enough people that were and then Michael Cole had to just say what he said, and it was brilliantly done. It was perfectly said.
Did you watch the pre-show?
I did.
On the pre-show, did you catch JBL? JBL, basically, they were talking about this match, and JBL said something along the lines of, it doesn't matter about their race, color, this, that, and the other. This is just a historical match. And I get where he's coming from, but his wording, his delivery, maybe it wasn't the best. We didn't need, at this point, we didn't need you to dilute what this occasion was to who it was. And I saw the reaction.
Go on. Sorry,
yeah, the reaction online was not positive, and I think there was definitely must have been a word in Michael Cole's ear, because he wasn't scared to then make good on, this is the first ever time two black women have main evented at WrestleMania, and it was almost like correcting the wrong of what my man said earlier. So
very true, very true. What was disappointing? I mean, when I was going to say about the reaction, I was talking about the reaction of Booker T and Caleb Braxton.
Oh, okay.
If you look at them, they held it. It's not obvious, but you saw Booker T kind of like, and I was like, oh. And how can you turn around and say it's not about their race, it's not about their gender, it's still a historic match? Take those two things away, it's not a historic match.
Yeah,
it's not a historic match if you take those two things away. So that was the reason why it's historic. But
I was saying to some friends, we saw, after Eddie Guerrero, he would have saw after Eddie Guerrero won the WWE Championship at No Way Out, and I think the next night or wherever they were in Mexico City or in Mexico or somewhere like that, he would have saw that reaction from the crowd with all the flags and everything, the confetti. You can't say that race and cultural representation does not matter. There is no chance you can say. You see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn go to bloody Montreal or Quebec, and they're white, and you can see the reaction. Because that's their people, them. So you can't water this down, bro. There's no way.
No way at all. No way at all. And obviously we saw a great match that they had. I want to, make sure we credit Sasha Banks for the part that she played in the match, in terms of making sure Bianca looked absolutely amazing in her, in her strength showing, in the counters that they did, in just the whole psychology and storytelling of that match. It was massive credit to Sasha Banks, who I would expect out of the two of them kind of controlled what was happening in the match. Obviously Bianca still gets credit for pulling off what she did and her abilities and all that kind of thing, and still had to show up and still had to be as good as she was in order for the match to be great. But in defeat, Sasha Banks was just, I think I believe someone said it on commentary. If they didn't send it on commentary, someone else has said it to me. But that match showed you just kind of more or less cemented. If you don't think it already, you're very silly or very blind to what wrestling is. But that match cemented how amazing and how great Sasha Banks is at this thing, bro. It was just ridiculous. It was just crazy. It's crazy.
I'm getting goosebumps, bro. Let me just read 2 comments. One
Go
is
for it, man.
basically confirming what you just said. Thanks for Yao Nabi for joining us. Said Booker T admitted on his podcast that he held himself back from correcting JBL. So yeah, that's clearly a thing amongst the other hosts there. F50, he said that quite a while ago, but I was saving it till we talk about this. Thanks for joining us. He said, even as a white guy, I can't lie, night 1 got me emotional the way the main event started. Pure goosebumps. I just wish WWE did shows like this 24/7.
Come on.
There's nothing stopping them. It's just laziness.
That is true. That is true.
Mate, just a rewinding and going back in this match. When I saw Sasha Banks coming down, I thought Sasha Banks looked fantastic, by the way.
Listen, bro.
Like she did those elements of that. She looked beautiful, but she looked still like a villain. That she was the villain in this.
Right.
The one thing I noticed, I said when she came out, I said, why is she dressed like Naomi?
You said that. I never clocked that at all.
I said, oh no, I was watching along with Rest Things, right? Big up them. I said, why is she dressed like Naomi?
Wow.
I later found out that Bianca Belaire her outfit was a homage to Jacqueline. Yeah, because I think it's just the fabric, something that Jacqueline won. I think it was this kind of same attire Jacqueline won when she won the women's championship. Being the first black woman to win the women's championship. Naomi's attire, Sasha Banks' attire was a homage to Naomi. First black woman to win the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Yep, of course.
And the curly hair was a homage to Alicia Fox, first African American to win the Divas Championship.
Wow, bro.
So them girls are really thinking when they put together their outfits and everything. It wasn't just about them. It was just about, everyone around them that's created this kind of thing that they're doing. Talking again about Sasha and how brilliant she was, man. Like you said, just made her look like a megastar. That spot where Bianca Belaire carried Sasha Banks over her head back into the ring. I said, I was looking at this match from Bianca Belaire from a physical, like a fitness and health strength, and the girl is fantastic. Like I can understand why she's an athlete, did CrossFit and all of that kind of stuff. And Sasha Banks is an absolute phenomenal sports entertainer. Like I was speaking. Who else I speak? I think it was to Skillet. I was speaking to Skillet, and we're talking about who the Sasha, how good Sasha is. Like she's given all of these women their best matches
by far, bro. By far.
They talk about Charlotte. They talk about Hell in a Cell. It was with Sasha Banks. Becky, Hell in a Cell as well. Was with Sasha Banks. Bailey, numerous ones with you can pick anyone. You can pick anyone with Bailey. Like it's Sasha Banks
in NXT New York.
Ronda Rousey. Is that Ronda Rousey? Asuka. People drew back to some of the ones. Asuka is either Charlotte at WrestleMania or some of the ones she had with Sasha Banks in the summer last year. Now Bianca Belaire, like she's given all of these girls 4-star level matches plus at this point. Easy. Like I went out on a limb. I said this is the best women's match at WrestleMania I've ever seen. Some have argued and said that Charlotte Asuka was pretty good. I said I won't give it, but I think the placement of this is what contributed to that as well, being a main event. This match was special no matter where it was on the card, but we wouldn't be kind of holding it in such high regard if it never got that main event spot. And I'm sure we've seen the scenes of her sitting outside the ring while Bianca Belaire celebrating and she's smiling and
smiling.
She knows what she's done, man. She's legitimized and born a new star. Like,
and speaking of reactions as well, we've seen the scenes and videos of Montez Ford coming to the ring, Bianca's husband, Bianca's dad almost jumping over the barricade.
Trust the black man. I literally saw that. I said, trust the black man to do that.
Listen, it had to be a black man, and Bianca's dad now has his WrestleMania moment because that's gonna live in our memories for the rest of time, bro. To the point you saw the steward tried to hold him back. Just as he was almost like over the barricade. It was funny, bro. But we also seen as well like just how real the the emotions are. We've seen it, you know, when Bianca won the Royal Rumble as well. You know just how much the whole thing means to her, and her and Montez embracing at the back, and you know we saw a scene of her in the golf cart, you know, driving backstage, and she's there praying and thanking God and all that stuff, bro. You start to it's things like that help you to show others just how real this thing is. It's not just some folks that are just playing up and wrestling is fake and blah 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 and don't understand what it is and blah and all the rest of it, but it just shows you just how real this thing, you know, just what it means to people. And you know, we know Sasha, Bianca Belair has been very vocal about how important it is for her to be a role model as well for, you know, Black people, young Black girls, women in general, and just anyone else who ever's felt like, you know, for whatever reason that they're marginalized and, you know, all those kinds of things. And as we say all the time, bro, representation matters. It's been interesting to see the opposite of our reaction on Twitter, with people playing it down and all that kind of thing. But one of the things I've said to a comment that I've seen on social media is that, you know, we don't need to worry about what other people think in the sense where people are going to have their opinions. And at the end of the day, you know, what is important to us won't be important to them.
Yeah.
Let's not do the whole thing of going back and forth with people on Twitter and on Instagram and blah 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 and try to show them how important it is, or try to convince them or get upset with them because they don't see it and all that. Just let's leave all of that out. Let's just revel in the victory that we have, in the sense that we have seen what on paper alone is a massive match, but yet the showing, you know, the actual match itself, the detail that's gone into what Sasha Banks has both done in the ring, her attire, what it meant to Bianca Belair and her family, all of that, bro. It's undeniable. It's undeniable. So for anyone to play it down, just let them play. Let them do their thing. Let them do their thing. People are, you know, I've seen some people say it's a 5-star match, where other people have come back and like, but it's not like Kenny Omega and Cody.
Oh man,
we're not talking about the match. We're not talking. You know
people, especially wrestling fans, can never enjoy anything in isolation. Everything has to be compared to something else, and it loses the meaning of all of this stuff. I mean, it didn't take any. If you got two eyes, you can see what this match meant,
right?
And that's it. Like, I have nothing else to say. I have one thing. I don't know if you saw WWE Watch Along, their own Watch Along show. So Bianca went on it after, you know, she came backstage and everything, and she's gone on there with her title. And what was making me laugh the most, obviously she's just saying what it means to her and everything. She was there for about 7 minutes. It was, she couldn't hold the title. So she's still shaking. She's still excited. But if you remember, she's never held the title. This wasn't someone that came up a wrestling fan necessarily. She never won nothing in NXT. She's here on this show on WWE programming, holding the belt upside down, dropping the belt, trying to find a comfortable way to put it. Like, it's an element of this is so cute because she doesn't know. Like, this is literally a novice that has climbed their way to the top. You know, 5 years anniversary just celebrated in WWE as well. And yeah, she's literally just shaking, has found her positioning now. Like I've seen so many times stories of Vince giving people trouble backstage because they've held the belt upside down and it says M instead of the W. And I was just thinking, you better learn how to hold this by Friday, you know? If you do this on SmackDown on TV, there might be a problem. But I think, you know, just brilliant scenes. F50 has said here in the chat, Sasha elevates everyone she wrestles. She's on a losing streak at WrestleMania, but that only shows what a good heel she is and what she gives to other wrestlers. I think there's a brilliant story in this losing streak. Where she either beats Bayley to end the curse, who is her long-term rival, or she maybe wins the 4 horsemen match that we're going to be waiting for at some point. But I think
Very
this
true.
0-6 there's something there.
Is happening, bro.
Yeah.
I've seen people mentioning a lot over the last few days, and I'm thinking, okay, will WWE do something with it? But even if they, even if they don't, I think gonna be an element of something somewhere, where it will be mentioned, it will be talked about, on the show,
put it
all that
into a
kind of stuff. It'll
storyline.
be part of some kind of storyline at some point. Surely.
Yeah.
Just crazy stuff, bro. Just mad. The other match that we saw on night 2 was the Nigerian drum fight. Basically a street fight with a few drums around the ring. I didn't quite.
Did you notice that no drums were used?
I was literally just about to say the same thing, bro. I was literally just about to say the same thing. It was called a Nigerian drum fight, yet kendo sticks, tables, the steel ring, the steel ring steps. And there were probably about
tables.
Yeah, I said tables. Yep. There were probably about 12 to 16 drums around the ring. Not one was used for anything, bro. And to make them, sorry, to make them more Nigerian, they were green. Like what? Huh? Like why?
Oh, my brother. You know what? I read a report, like I think a day before night 2 Mania, or maybe 2 days before, where Big E came out and he I think some journalist had asked him backstage, like, what are you looking forward to in this match? He said, I'm not looking forward to anything. I don't know what to look forward to. And he goes, oh, have you been told like what was the stipulation or what it's going to be like? He said it's a Nigerian drum fight, and that's as much as I know. And this is him shooting. Like, I'm not lying.
Wow.
Like, he said it wasn't decided what this was actually going to be when Apollo said it on SmackDown. They just told him to say it, but no one actually knew, including Apollo. And it kind of showed for me, because these guys came straight out and it's like, okay, this is a street fight. What do we know? Kendo sticks. We know kendo sticks. Let's go use kendo sticks. We'll use stairs, we'll use chairs, we'll use tables. But the thing they didn't know, if I hit my man with this, what's the repercussion going to be? Yeah, they didn't touch it. They didn't
Not
touch
at all.
it. So
I think someone collided into some or something, but
yeah.
Unintentionally or whatever it was. But apart from that,
of course, we can't forget the big Oriental gong that was there, which is definitely Nigerian.
Bro, listen, I'm surprised. You know what? It would have made sense for Apollo to try and use his spear at least. You know what I mean? Like, bro, it's this stuff that I was very afraid of about 4 weeks ago when Apollo first did his whole I am now going to be, paying homage to my Nigerian roots and all that kind of stuff. The amount of times I've seen, and over the last weekend, seen so many people say that his accent is just off. Someone even asked me, like, is Apollo actually Nigerian? I said, yeah, he is. I just don't get it. But yeah, it's these things that that just still worry me. It just feels like we've stepped back, and as we've said, take away the overly gimmicky stuff. The direction Apollo's going is brilliant.
Yeah,
it's absolutely fine. I love the fact that he's got a new attitude. He's kind of found his feet a little bit more. He's turned a heel. We've not got this squeaky clean. He looks massive. He looks like he should be aggressive, but he's just this nice, gentle guy. Now we're seeing, another side of him, and that's great. But it's just being tarnished week after week now with him holding on to the accent. This Nigerian drum fight fiasco, that was just an absolute waste of time. It should have just been a street fight or no holds barred or whatever.
Have you noticed that this laugh that he does?
No.
He does. So, like, it's like when he's about to, he either uses it to punctuate something, or like when he's about to start talking, when the camera comes on him. I've noticed it on SmackDown a couple times. And then he goes. He's literally like, so Big E, Intercontinental Championship. Like, Nah.
Bro,
Anyway,
as a man who does acting, I know that there are times when I've had to, you know, when you want to put on a certain accent, and there's stereotypical things that you do and whatnot. There's always something that you do to get you into doing an accent. Like if I was to do a Scouse accent, I'd be like, all right, calm down, mate, and then talk and say whatever.
Yeah.
It sounds like that is something that he does in order to try and get
to set the
accent.
scene.
Oh man, that's the worst, bro. That's the worst. And you know what made this whole thing bad as well? It's great that he's now the Intercontinental Champion. Let's not forget that part. Let's put that in there. Make sure everyone knows that. And we expected that, because if he lost for a 5th time to Big E, it would have been like, what was the point?
Yeah.
And it's amazing that Dabba-Kato, formerly known as Dabba-Kato, formerly known as Babatunde as well, came out and is now he's heavy, you know, he's main guy.
I love him, by the way.
His name, bro, is General Aziz.
Yes.
If you notice, and you know what, I saw someone commented on my thing, because I put in my story, Dabba-Kato, you know, exclamation marks, blah, blah, blah. Someone's responded and said, General Aziz. I'm like, huh? I didn't hear that name at all mentioned the whole time he was out and all that. I didn't hear it. So when he said that, I thought General Aziz was Wesley Snipes' character in Coming to America. I'll go and check, bro. Wesley Snipes' character's name is Commander Easy. Why are the two names so similar?
I don't even clock. And I've watched that film. You mean Coming to America 2, right?
Yeah.
I literally didn't even clock.
Oh, bruv. I'm just like, is this what we're doing? Is this what we're doing in 2021? We're giving people names of comedic African characters. Nah.
I mean, I really liked it. I really liked him getting involved.
Yeah.
I think that protects Biggie, and all of that. But like, I didn't even know they had named him yet.
I've seen the name a few times, so I just assumed. I just missed the name during the show. I thought I literally missed the name during the show.
I heard them just call him like this monster, like who is this monster or something, and I was laughing because it's like, did you not see this guy tearing a hole through everyone on Raw Underground?
That was the thing as well. I'm like, who is this? I'm like, huh? It's Dabba-Kato. You told us that like a few months ago.
He works with you.
Raw Underground. Huh? What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy how we go from, you know, the things that validate us being wrestling fans in terms of Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair and the emotion involved and all that beautiful stuff, and then boom, we get this stuff that we're like, you don't even want to tell people that you're. I'm guessing your missus was sitting right next to you when that match was happening.
Lucky for me, she wasn't. So
for a change.
She stayed up and we watched night one, because obviously she's very invested in Naomi, very invested in Bianca, etc. So I saw her falling asleep at times, but she hustled through and wanted to see the main event happen.
Nice.
Night two, I said to her, I can't even lie. Like, I think this is a 1-match card. It's probably going to be the main event. She goes, "Oh, isn't the Apollo match happening?" I told her, "Don't worry about it.
Just
like,
don't
worry.
You're okay, darling. Yeah, I don't need your support tonight."
She asked me about it the next day, and I told her, and she rolled her eyes. And then, of course, on Friday or Saturday morning when I watch SmackDown, she's going to see it anyway, so I can't even hide. So it is what it is.
Oh man, what a crazy world we are a part of, bro. As I said, on one hand we get this raw emotion, this realness, this beautiful stuff, and then on the other hand we get this, like, it's just shameful. It's just shameful sometimes, you know. You just like
embarrassing.
Very embarrassing, bro. Very embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
Of all the matches on from night two. Because we talked about how great night one was, and obviously, you know, Apollo Big E was on night two. Was there any match that stood out for you apart from obviously our own stars? Which match stood out for you the most?
I think the main event was phenomenal. Really good stuff. Daniel Bryan has added so much to this story to the point where even I felt like in this match, it portrayed that Roman Reigns is like second fiddle in this story. It was really like a blood feud between Edge and Daniel Bryan. And for Roman Reigns, well, he didn't do the first concerto, that was Edge. But for both of these guys that have had known head concussion, neck injuries to be laid out with head chair shots, Roman Reigns did exactly what he said he was going to do on SmackDown, stack them up, pin them, $1 million worth of pyro is going to go off. Everyone's going to acknowledge me. It happened like he said. Like, I wouldn't have thought at all that Roman was going to retain this. I thought it was a triple threat match, so he can lose without being pinned.
Right.
I was pleasantly surprised. Love the way it went down. I love the fact that Roman has cemented as a heel. My heart was full at the point where he was standing on the stairs. I think he had just put Daniel Bryan through the table, commentary table, and the crowd was shouting, "You suck, you suck." And he went back to the crowd like, "Shut up, I'm the tribal chief, acknowledge me." And it's like, finally, that must have been such a release. This man they've been trying to build up for years on years on years can finally cuss back this ungrateful crowd.
That's true. That's true.
And yeah, he got speared straight off the stairs afterwards. But I thought, what a moment. Like, they caught that on camera. These guys have given him so much crap for years. No, I can actually give it back now. I'm allowed to. I can't just be a smiley baby face. Like,
that is true.
A really good match. Really good.
It was a phenomenal match. I didn't get to see the whole thing. I was kind of still in and out of sleep, and for most of that after I think the Big E match. But even down to the way it ended was just crazy. My whole thing, I expected it to be, and a part of me still wishes it happened like this, and it just felt as if it would have made just a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
If Edge won by pinning Daniel Bryan, so Roman doesn't lose, Edge gets his WrestleMania moment. Bang on, 10 years after, 10 years to the day after he had to retire, and all of that, he comes back and he, has the fireworks and Edge standing there doing his thing. And then, a few months down the line, Roman still got the chance to say, well, I didn't lose, I'm coming back for it. Roman then comes back and, gets his title back and all is well in the WWE all over again. But at the same time, with what you're saying about how Roman has literally dictated what he was going to do and then did it. That in itself, bro, is just crazy. And you know what I love? Check this. Both Roman and Bobby Lashley did that.
That's true.
Bobby Lashley is now on the same... Sorry, bro. Bobby Lashley is now on the same level to me as Roman Reigns because they have both dictated what they were going to do and have done it. That does not happen. And also, again, for the two heel champions to come away from WrestleMania as still the champions as well. Again, that doesn't happen.
They both
so I think for me...
out as champion.
Yeah. So for me, I don't know whether I'm seeing too much into this or I'm getting too excited about this, but I almost feel as though they really are building Bobby Lashley because what he's done is parallel to Roman Reigns. That's crazy. That's crazy to think just on its own, bro. But shout out to Roman, Daniel Bryan, and Edge for that match. That match was amazing. It was the one match that I was kind of waiting for on that night. Rhea Ripley is also as well. The Raw Women's Champion. That was a decent match. I'm a big fan of Rhea. So whatever she does, I'm happy with. It doesn't really matter. It came out of nowhere. I'm not a fan of that part, but still good match. And she's a champ. But yeah, man. WrestleMania 37 was good.
I was happy with it. Not so happy with Raw after Mania.
Oh no, I wasn't expecting that to be great anyway. I really wasn't, and it was a massive disappointment.
I'll pick up on highlights. Yeah, you don't need to see nothing more. I'll pick up on one comment. Big up Jamie in the chat as well. One comment from Jonesy. it's in regard to the finish of Raw, where we saw Drew become #1 contender for the triple threat match, and then he was then attacked by Dio Madden and Dominic Dijakovic, aka Mace and T-Bar.
Right.
He says, "What do you make of Dio Madden and Dominic maybe replacing Shelton and Cedric?" I don't know. I like stature-wise, I think they may look good in Hurt Business, especially if they take away their masks and this, that, and the other.
They'll have to take away the masks, definitely.
Yeah, and they're just themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they just seem more like hired guns for MVP to take down Drew. I don't know, like if this is an actual move to the Hurt Business or not. What do you think?
Physically, yes, they would look great. I think it would be good for them too as performers. To move out of that whole Mason T-Bar thing. There's two ways it should go. It's either they go full tilt with keeping that whole Mason T-Bar thing going on and really put something into it, or they take them away from it altogether, and being in the Hurt Business would probably help. I don't know. They will just have to make it work, basically. I'm not overly excited about it, but at the same time, I don't think it would be a silly move either. As I said, it would be good for them too, as performers, to raise their stature a little bit and not be left in catering and just come out every now and again just to do stuff like that, basically. But yeah, that's it really.
Yeah, I guess we will find out. I guess it will unravel in the next couple of days. But
yeah. That is it, man. Folks, with that said, that is it for today. As always, we could carry on talking about wrestling and everything going on this week and this weekend. Has been great. WrestleMania was amazing. Folks, you've been amazing. Thanks for joining us here on WrstlXtra on the WrestleMania UK YouTube channel. And of course, on affinityextra.com. Follow us where you can on Twitter and on Instagram, WrestleManiac UK and Black Wrestling Alliance. For now, folks, see you next week.